Welcome back to Supernatural Saturday. I'm your host, Nikki Luciano, and I'm joined by Mason, Ryan, and Missy. For those of you that are new to this, buckle up because it gets weird. We're talking about mimics and the Hat Man or the Shadow Man, whichever you prefer to call him. Where did we leave off? This is our second time recording today. We had very major technical difficulties, but after 5 hours, Mason figured it out. So we're back. Let's start with the mimic. Anybody want to comment on the mimic?
The mimic, like experiences with the mimic?
Yeah.
Go through those?
Yeah.
The only experience I've had with the mimic is just hearing a lot of when I'm home alone, hearing people say my name or say like hello. It's very one worded.
Mhm.
I don't know if they normally say sentences, but it's really only ever one word I get. Either a name or something that like grabs your attention, like hello, or yeah, that's the only thing I've had.
Well, let me explain. I guess I should back up here for a minute. A mimic, for those of you that aren't familiar, is an entity I believe to be demonic, that can copy somebody's voice perfectly. Like, you'll be sitting there and all of a sudden you'll hear your wife or your husband or your mother or somebody that you're familiar with trying to talk to you, like calling your name. Like for Ryan, they'd say, Ryan.
Or look,
Yeah.
or hi.
Yeah. And they do talk in sentences because um like with Jimmy, when he had it here at my house, it would say, James, let me in. So, yeah, we've had a lot of experience with that. What about you, Mason? Anything in particular stand out?
I mean, I've had way too many experiences to count with that kind of stuff. And it doesn't even have to be when I'm home alone. It could be I'm downstairs, somebody's upstairs, and I hear somebody say my name in my ear. But it's always a voice that I'm familiar with. I've never heard full sentences, but just like saying my name.
Okay. Missy?
Yeah, same. Just about, just like saying mom,
Yeah.
like all the kids will be at school, and then all of a sudden there's like a voice in the kitchen that's like, half the time it's screaming. So it's like a panic mom. And at first I'd like freak out and go running, because that's what a mom does. But then your mind like catches up to your body finally, and then you're like, wait, my kids aren't here, and running into the darkness now.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think that mimics are evil. I believe it's the work of the devil because they get to know you, the people around you, and the people that, like in your case, Missy, it knows that you're a mom, and that if you hear a panicked voice saying, Mom, then you're going to panic and you're going to answer. And that's the worst thing you can do with a mimic is answer them, because then you're interacting and you're giving them satisfaction.
Yeah, that's what. Or sometimes like what I've seen or experienced, can't see them, but is which I don't know if you guys had, not like sentences, but they'll say like Ryan, and then quiet, and then they'll say it again, like 2 or 3 times. But just thinking about that, because we're talking about the voice thing, it's always a voice that you recognize, but then also there has been a couple times I've heard it like the second or third time, and it wasn't a voice of somebody I recognized.
Yeah.
So it would be like, say it was Mason saying Ryan,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, what? And then I hear it again, and then like at one time I was in the basement, and I heard it a third time, and it wasn't his voice. I don't know whose voice it was, but it wasn't that voice.
Yeah.
I heard that you're not supposed to pay attention to them. You're not supposed to acknowledge them because then you like
Giving them power.
Yeah, I don't want to say you let them in, but that's what they're looking for.
I
is
always-
for you to acknowledge it.
I always acknowledge, so I'm the sacrifice because I can never figure out if
He's
what's
the
going
tribute.
on.
Yeah. And then I always scream at him about that.
Yeah, like
Why?
when I'm at home or like if we're anywhere and I hear one, I always like casually like look around, like I'm not looking for you, but I'm looking to see where that voice came from. And then if it's, obviously if it's one of my kids, they're right there. But if I don't hear any, if I don't see anything else, I'm just like, okay,
Yeah,
you
no.
almost got me.
Mhm.
Almost.
If it's Ryan, I usually go what, and then I look and no one's there. If it's hello, I'm usually hello, and then I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
no one's there.
See, I'm guilty of even walking through Walmart and a child says, Mom, and I turn around. So
I just say it. Yeah, we're at Walmart and you're, Ma, what? Oh, you're not mine, my bad.
Yeah.
But what do you want?
all right. What about the Shadow Man? I want to hear who's got a good story about the Shadow Man. I think Mason's got the best one with being dragged.
Okay. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. You're supposed to say before the story.
So when we first moved here, I was like 5 years old.
4.
4 years old. No,
Oh yeah, you were in kindergarten.
I was
so
6 actually.
Okay, you were 6. I'm
That's my
sorry.
age, kindergartner.
What? Never mind. So I was 6 and I was so scared of the house that I used to sleep on the floor in Haley's and Desi's room. And one night I was sleeping and Haley was awake,
Mm,
probably watching what was her name? That blonde. Chelsea Lately.
okay.
And apparently she saw this man hovering over me and did not say a word. She probably put the blanket over her head.
Yeah.
But it dragged me into the hallway, so probably 6-8 feet.
Yeah, 7 or somewhere between 7 and
7
10
and 10
feet.
And when I woke up at the end of the drag, don't know where the end destination was, but I looked up and it looked like I was young. I didn't know. I thought that Abraham Lincoln was dragging me through the hallway because I was just a super, super tall black figure with a top hat, like an
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln hat.
And that's another thing that I'd like to touch topic on here or touch base on. The Shadow Man has been reported around the world for centuries. But different areas of the world see different things. Some report seeing him in a top hat, some in a fedora, some in a cowboy hat. When my family sees him, he's usually wearing a drover coat with black boots with chains around his feet and a fedora, like I said. But I don't know. He's darker than the darkest room you've ever seen. When you're in a pitch black room, you can still see him moving about. Check him out sometime, Google search the Shadow Man, the Hat Man, and just read up on it. It's a pretty interesting story. A lot of people believe that he's the Grim Reaper or the Angel of Death. Others think that he's just a watcher. Others believe he's some kind of a messenger. When I was less than 2 years old, I used to have tea parties with him because I didn't know any different. I just thought it was a man that was sitting there in my room. So, okay, go on with your story and tell about the other times that you've seen him.
Which other?
The mirror?
Oh, I mean, this one's pretty short. I mean, one time I saw him standing in the bathroom mirror, and I was so frozen with fear that I could not move, and I just sat there, and he just stared back.
Missy?
Like the first time I had an experience, I guess, was downstairs in the family room, and we were all down there, and we saw him coming out of the laundry room.
Mm-hmm.
And as we were taking pictures, like he kept getting closer and closer. And then finally, I got sick of hearing Dante scream, so I went over there, and I'm like, "Where is he?" And I'm like swinging at the air, trying to hit him, blow him away. I don't know what I was trying to do, but I was just trying to stop Dante from screaming. And then just randomly throughout the house, I'll see him like peeking around corners, coming down my stairs from upstairs.
Mhm.
I'm sitting in the living room, and I'll see him come down the stairs and peek his head around. I'm like, yeah, we're still here.
And there's something about him that you don't even have to see him to feel that
Yeah.
he's there.
Mhm.
He just gives off his own energy.
Cold.
Like, I mean, the purest evil.
Yeah. Well, like when I'm in my room and I saw him peeking around the corner, and then stupidly I was like, okay, if I just turn my back on you, you're not there anymore. But then you could just feel him,
Looming.
like his presence was just there.
Yeah, it's a
So
very ominous, weird feeling.
So I rolled over, and then I saw him coming through my door, like lunging at me. And then I just screamed Jesus, and he disappeared.
Yeah. Ryan, have you ever encountered the Hat Man?
I only have, now that I think about it, twice. One was, I'm going to say the one I knew for sure was the Hat Man. And then I'm going to say the one because I have a question about it. But the one was in my house, there's an office in between a living room and a bedroom that always feels very cold and just stagnant air. Gives off a weird vibe. And there was many times walking through the hallway past the office, the door would always be open, and I would see someone standing in the office out of the corner of my eye. So I would stop and then back up and not see anything. That was a lot. Just kind of like literally standing in the middle of the room, just it's completely dark in there. Never moving, or like literally never moving.
No,
Just
he
standing
just
there.
stands and watches and lurks.
It got to a point where I think we started closing the door
Mm-hmm.
because
There
I
was
kept
a very like heavy energy in that room.
Got to the
Yeah.
point where the door was closed.
door
and
was always
nobody would
shut.
go in there.
Yeah.
I never wanted to go in that room anyways, just because of the feeling of just the
Mhm.
stagnant air
Well, and it
feeling,
kinda, like,
cold.
Like it would drain you.
Yeah,
You, like, walk
so
in,
I
you're
wouldn't go
fine,
in
and then
there.
you walk in and you're just like, oh, it's time for bed now.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then the other one, which I was thinking about during Missy's story, but I don't know if it was shortly after weeks, because you knew about this, weeks after your mother died.
Mhm.
It was the one where in the middle of the night, I was in bed, and from like the bedroom door being open, there's a hallway that goes down to the living room. And then in the living room, there's like a flat screen TV down there. And I'm laying in bed, and all of a sudden I like see the lights turn on for the TV in the living room. So I get up, go in there. I'm assuming, okay, the cat hit the remote or something.
Yeah.
Flick the TV off, walk back. And then when I walked back, laid back in bed, and then it turned on again, but this time it had like the volume was increasing on the TV. So I walked back out, and I
Stupid white boy.
like it was loud. I mean, I'm surprised no
Like,
one
the
else
neighbors
woke
didn't
up.
complain or
I mean,
nothing.
it was just kept increasing. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So I walked back out, and I'm like, okay, I think it was like a little months before that we had a bad rain where the living room flooded a little bit. So I was just kind of, okay, probably a wiring thing. I'm just going to plug
Yeah.
the TV, figure it out in the morning.
Yeah.
And I walked out there, and standing right in the corner of the living room, like next to right of the flat screen, there was like this corner of a lamp in it, was a figure standing right there. Scared the bejeebers out of me.
Yeah.
But then I stopped and didn't even enter the room. I assumed someone broke in.
Mm.
So then I started backing up down the hallway. And as I was like putting it in reverse, Terry,
Yeah.
backwards, I was staring at the living room, just backing up
Yeah.
slowly, and the TV would shut itself off like halfway down the hall.
Yeah.
And that's when I woke him up and was like, someone's in the house.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, but that second time it was weird because in the office, it was always like 6'4", 6'5", like just a very tall dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't see any like, had a hat, didn't see any chains, just very like, not slender, but like not a big guy.
Yeah.
But the one in the living room was like average height.
Yeah.
Like that's why I assumed
Well,
someone
I
broke in.
believe there's more than one Hat Man.
Because that was my question. Because it's always like, I know like a lot of people say he's usually taller. But yeah, that one in the living room was just like a normal 5-10 person standing there.
Well, yeah, like Mom said, I think there's like different ones because most of the time that the Hat Man that we've had like interactions with,
Yeah.
he just kind of like stands there and just looms around,
Or drags you down the hallway.
drags you down the hallway. And
Yeah,
I've got like the ones that lunge at me, or he just has a very challenging energy about him.
We got the feisty one.
We did.
I'll be standing there doing dishes and I can feel somebody rushing up on me, and I look in the window and it's pitch black outside and it's light in the house, so you can naturally see reflection of what's behind you. And I've seen him just rushing me.
Yeah.
Just rushing
like
right up
standing there
behind me.
doing dishes like 2 days ago. I'm standing there, and then all of a sudden, and mind you, we just got on the bus, so it's just me and Georgia home. And I'm standing there, and I'm looking out the window, looking at my tree that's gonna fall down, and I feel somebody like literally pull my hair hard, where my head jerked back. And as I whipped around, because I'm like, your mind doesn't put like reality together. Like it's just me and Georgia here, and she comes up to my waist, she's not gonna be able to touch my hair. So I whipped around and I saw the shadow go flying around the corner. And I'm like, I'm going to kill Tanner. Like, he's dead. Like, do not pull my hair. That's rude. So I went chasing after him.
Oh.
And then my brain caught up with my body. And I'm like, I am literally chasing the Shadow Man. But why is he running away from me?
That's a different version of Ghost Hunters.
Yeah. I would say I never see him during the day. It was always at night, usually.
During the day, I don't see him as much, but I feel his presence.
Yeah. It's always like
Well-
when it's pitch black outside,
Yeah.
dark.
The entire time that I was writing my first book, Fire Within Me, where I actually start talking about my experience with the Shadow Man and other spirits and entities, I could feel them reading over my shoulders. That's what I'm assuming that they were doing. And
Well, even as you would like pass the chapter around for all of us to read and like, okay, what do you think? And this and that. It felt like they followed.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like right on our shoulder, like, what are you gonna say?
Well, and
What are you
that's
gonna say?
why it's weird that, I mean, I'm sure she'll touch base on this about people reading the book and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But it's literally like she was writing a haunted book.
Yeah.
yeah, and how many people have messaged me? Mason is my tech guy, so he gets my emails, he gets my messages usually. I've had so many people come back and say, my God, after reading your book, I've been having so much paranormal activity in my home.
Even people like we know in our
Yeah.
everyday life have had.
My
Experiences
Facebook
that-
friends, they've
Yeah.
had it, everything.
Half of them could not even be believers. And
Yeah.
like after I read that book, I
Yeah.
don't know what happened, but I was experiencing stuff.
Yeah, now I have to believe because
Yep.
it's happening to me now.
And they come back and like, okay, this is happening. What is it and what do I do?
Yeah, it's
Okay. Yeah,
um
go ahead.
like the energy from him during the day is kind of like maybe childlike, because it's always like pulling my hair or knocking something off the table or dropping something upstairs, and then stupid white girl goes upstairs to see what fell, because I was like, okay, did my cat just like have a heart attack and fall off its cat tree and whatever? So I go up there and there's nothing out of place, or it's something like yesterday. We were in the living room and Tanner and I were moving the couches and whatever, and it sounded like a glass mug like just got spiked on the ground, and you could hear it shatter.
Yeah.
So we go running in there. Number one, I don't have glass mugs. I've got kids. Number two, there's nothing out of place. Not a single thing.
What was I gonna say? You were talking about something and I had one for Mason. Oh crap. Now I
Okay, come
lost
back
it.
to ya.
See, we don't do scripted. We like just winging it because I think you get a truer podcast. It doesn't sound like a play.
It's authentic.
Yeah. Just like you'll never see me on screen because I'm not here to be judged on how I look. I like the old time feel of talk radio, like before TVs were even invented, how they had radio shows where they'd tell stories, and it was like sitting around a campfire, and that's the vibe that I grew on.
Yeah. And it's like, it sounds like, just a bunch of people getting together talking about life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can't script life. So,
Yeah, you're inviting me into your home and telling listening to us tell stories. So that's the way we like it, and I hope everybody's comfortable with that. A lot of people have said, "Oh my God, turn on live so we can see you." No, you don't need to see me. You want to see me? Go on my Facebook page and look at me.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
if you're into scary things,
I like the podcast. Like I've said several times before, I'll just put in my earbuds and clean the house while listening to stuff, and I kind of like that because then you're not distracted by the screen.
Mhm.
You get to actually hear and like comprehend what everybody's saying, and makes you think a little bit more.
Missy, do you remember going to St. Mary's Church in Hales Corners?
Yep.
And they brought in Father Dominic,
I love that.
who had the strongest Sicilian accent you've ever heard in your life.
But you really had to
You had to
focus and
yeah.
concentrate on what he was
I
saying.
liked it because I found I wasn't fidgeting in my seat. I wasn't bored
Mhm.
because he was giving us a message and we had to pay so close attention. Otherwise we'd miss the whole thing.
Yeah, because like, no offense to Father Art, rest in peace. But I'd catch myself daydreaming, like looking around and like, oh, I love stained glass, and look at that, that's so pretty. But when Father Dominic was talking, you're just like, okay, I gotta really like hone in on his words.
Yeah, like there's a test at the end or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, he really paid attention.
Any other Shadow Man stories?
That I can think of.
I don't know. I just find him fascinating because
You can have.
Yeah, like I say, I wouldn't label it as fascinating.
I mean, I've got like daily activity at my house from him that I'm willing to share with whoever wants to experience him.
Give it to the viewers.
Yeah,
let's pass it on.
Mhm.
yeah. It's
But
like one of those chain letters you used to get in the mail.
All of our engagements end right now.
Everybody-
Everybody picked off.
Yeah.
what else were we going to talk about here tonight?
I think we're just going to touch base on some experiences.
Yeah, I think that's the best. See, we've had, well, I'm the oldest here. I'm 64, and I have had paranormal activity in my life as long as I can remember. And I can remember standing in my crib at 18 months old and seeing things starting then. What? Oh,
Are
I'm
you 63?
I'm 63. Holy crap.
You
I
just
just
aged
aged a year.
yourself a
Well, that was from
year.
waiting for Mason to get done fixing the computer.
Well, I'm not going up a year.
Okay, I'm
went down.
63.
We're
Sorry.
paid.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I was like.
See, I didn't even catch on. I was looking at
You,
the stained glass.
You were Father Dominic.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Oh.
was Father Dominic.
But when I was little like that, I didn't know they were spirits. I thought it was just normal people that I was talking to and that I saw milling about in my room like people shopping in a mall. But the older I got and the more I learned, what was that?
So that's not normal for random people to be in your room.
But
Hey, when you're a little kid, when you're 2, 3 years old.
True.
And I used to ask my mom, who were those people in my room last night? And she thought I was dreaming,
Oh, okay.
you know?
see, I never knew other people didn't experience this stuff.
Yeah,
I thought
me
everybody
either.
Did.
Yeah. I thought this was like normal. Like, hey, dude, did you have a poltergeist in your room last night? Because I did, but no.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay.
Sorry.
Never, me neither. I don't know what to talk about.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
I didn't know like other people didn't
I know what I was going to ask you.
experience this.
Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
Dear God, so many times.
Okay. Tell me one of your experiences, your scariest.
Can we come back to me?
Okay.
Pass. No.
I can tell you about the time that when I had my bedroom downstairs on the lower level and Dad was at work and I was like, I'm going to sneak in a nap, a day nap, right?
Mhm.
That'll learn you.
Yeah, never again. So I fell asleep and at my back behind me was the bifold doors and that was my closet. And I'm sound asleep and all of a sudden my eyes just shot open and I could feel somebody behind me, and I turned and I looked and I rolled over onto my back, and I could see two priests walking out of the closet. One was dressed in a red robe, one was dressed in a white robe, and they were swinging that scent decanter from church, the incense decanter.
The Easter one.
Uh-huh. And I could smell the incense, and I couldn't move. Once I went onto my back, I couldn't move.
Mhm.
And all I could manage to say was, "What are you doing?" And the priest in the red said, "We're here to give you your last sacrament." And I thought, "Oh, no, no." And I took my left arm and I threw my body as hard as I could over onto my right side. And when I looked back, they were gone. And I could move again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Some people say it's sleep paralysis. Some people say it's an actual demonic entity in your room.
Mhm.
Missy, anything?
Oh, I could write 3 books on just sleep paralysis.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Oh, out loud. Well, the one time in Muskego when my TV changed to The Boy That Thought He Was a Devil,
Yeah.
when I was laying on the bed, there was growling on the top bunk,
Hmm.
and then the kitten came down and she laid next to me, but then the growling got like deeper and it kept telling me to get out, and then the kitten like climbed up on my chest, like into my neck, and was cuddling in. But I literally could not move. And that kitten was what, like 3 pounds.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like the cat holding me down. I didn't have, a puma on me. And then there was another time where I was laying in bed and I was in Waukesha and I woke up because I could feel somebody breathing on me,
Hmm.
but I was on my back and it was just breathing like heavy into my face and it was growling. And at first
I've had that.
At first I was like, okay, it's Mushy, like
The cat.
my cat. But then I opened my eyes and my room's never dark. No. I always have my TV on so I can see
What's
everything
coming
else.
at me? Yeah.
Yeah. And I open my eyes and there's nothing there, but I can feel and smell like the breath on me. And it was just growling and it was like literally vibrating my eardrums. It was such a deep growl.
When I had that, I could smell his breath and it smelled like sulfur.
Yeah.
Like when you light a match.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me, like when that incident happened in my room in Muskego, I had all my stuffed animals up on the top bunk because I never used it. And remember, we had to bag up and throw away all those stuffed animals because they smelled like
Sulfur.
fire, sulfur. Like it was bad. I had to throw them all away because we even tried washing them. We couldn't get the smell out of them.
Any others?
Nothing really. I mean, yes, but nothing that's like really like.
What did you feel? Did you feel like it was where you were having sleep paralysis? Sleep paralysis being where what is that about your REM, your REM sleep? That your brain wakes up, but your body doesn't. Do you think it's that, or do you think that what you experienced truthfully was an actual demonic presence?
100% demonic presence. And the one where it was growling in my face, it felt like it was trying to take over my body.
Yeah.
Because like certain like parts of my arms were really hot. So it felt like I was being pinned down. Because I could move like my shoulders, but I couldn't scream. And he was just like right there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what its intentions were. I just know it was there. And I know I was fully awake. I was fully coherent. I was not asleep. It wasn't, like one of those realistic nightmares,
Okay. Anybody else?
I think my scariest one was when I was living here in the big bedroom. And there's 2 closet doors that are on different walls, whatever, and they're mirrored. And I woke up, whatever, couldn't move, and I looked down at my feet, which is where one of the closet doors was, the smaller closet.
Yeah.
And through the mirror walked out this lady, and she's wearing what I think to be like a habit, like a nun.
Yeah.
And she just walks over to the other one, like right past the bed, right past me, walks into through the mirror of the other closet.
Yeah.
And it felt like it lasted forever. I just remember I could not move at all, and I just sat there. My body was vibrating,
Mhm.
and there's just tears rolling down my face because I'm like, I can't move. I'm stuck here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just had this gut feeling because like I kept like I was struggling to keep my eyes open, and there was a thought in my head I was thinking about, and I was saying that if I close my eyes, it's gonna take my soul, that I'm done.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking about that. And then
So do you think that was an REM episode or
it gets worse.
okay.
But wait,
Yeah,
there's more.
but wait, there's more.
Okay.
So then I kept fighting, trying to keep my eyes open and trying to move, and I couldn't move. And then finally I heard something say right behind me, because I was like on my side, and I heard something say, close your eyes. So then I was like, oh God, no. And then I started praying in my head, and then I could move. Then I rolled over to the other side, and the nun was right there by the side of my bed.
Oh my
Then
God.
I freaked out and instantly just jumped off my bed. And she was gone.
Wow. So REM,
Demon.
demon.
Yeah.
Did you ever experience any that you think might have been chalked up to REM?
Probably quite a few actually, but it's definitely a different feeling.
Yeah.
See, like sometimes I'll wake up and it's like, not that I can't move,
But you're too
But
scared to move.
it's almost like it takes so much energy to try to think about moving
Mm-hmm.
that you feel like you're paralyzed, but
Yeah.
you probably aren't.
Hmm.
But you don't have that fear associated with those ones.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing stuff around your room or whatever. I get that quite a few times a month.
Well, Vinny, what child is he?
Third.
Tony, Missy, Jimmy,
Fourth.
Vinny. Number 4.
Oops. Sorry, Missy.
So Vinny was living with his fiance Candy. Okay. And they were living down on the south side, way down on Forest Home. And Vinny has always been an odd sleeper. He can astral travel in his sleep. And so Candy, it's always a brand new experience for Candy when she sleeps next to him, because she listens to him breathing, and he's got, what is that called? Sleep apnea. And she says he'll just stop breathing. And she listens for a few seconds, and then she's got to shake him to wake him, because she knows that there's a problem. Well, Vinny also has experiences with, I don't know what you want to call it, the same thing that we were just talking about. He'll be laying there sound asleep, but then he wakes up and he looks around the room, and he can tell you everything that's going on. He can move, but then all of a sudden something snaps, and he can't move his arms.
Yeah.
He can't move his legs. He can't vocalize. He says, and then the room starts glowing red.
Mhm.
And then he can hear something breathing right in his face. He says, and his body feels like pins and needles.
Yeah.
And he starts making noises like he's trying to scream.
Mhm.
Candy's looking at him. He's wide awake, and he's looking at her like, help me, and it goes on for like 15 minutes. And then he'll not wake up, but he'll come out of it.
Yeah.
And he says, the fucking devil, the devil was right in my room with me. And
We're not editing here, guys.
yeah, see, we don't edit.
Yeah.
So you just heard a bad word.
Yeah.
But no, he really will tell you with fear in his voice.
Oh yeah. Vinny doesn't scare easy either.
No, he's 6'4", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And he don't play.
I mean, I've had experiences where there was one time I was sleeping and I was on my right side,
Uh-huh.
and at the foot of my bed is my TV stand and the dresser. And I always have when I go to sleep, my volume has to be at 2. And so that way in my mind, I can like write off if I hear anything, like, oh, it's probably the TV. But then it doesn't seep into my dreams.
Yeah.
And I'm laying there and I'm just dozing off, and then all of a sudden I hear there was like 4 or 5 different voices, and they're having like this full-on conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I thought I turned the TV down, so I grabbed the remote, and it was like, you ever been so exhausted, like Mason said, you're like so exhausted where it just takes so much energy to like pick up your arm and roll over. And I finally did that, and I went to turn my TV down, and there's like 5 people standing at the foot of my bed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And then you kind of like sink in your bed, like, oh God, I'm interrupting something. I'm not supposed to be here.
Do they see me?
Yeah.
Because I see them.
Oh no, they looked right at me. And then they just froze. And just out of fear, I just closed my eyes. I'm like, nope, you're not here. You're not here. And I opened my eyes and they were gone.
Wow. Dante, when he was about 16 years old, I remember that because he was just starting to drive.
Yeah.
He was in the bedroom that's now mine.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, sitting there watching TV, broad daylight. He skipped out of school that day.
Yeah.
The TV is up on a dresser, excuse me, at the foot of his bed. And he said, all of a sudden, a man walked right through the window. It was a shadow man, all black. And he had his cell phone in his hand. And the man stood in front of the TV, and he was taller than the TV. So he was pretty big. And all Dante could think to do was take a picture. He said, I heard this cracking noise in the TV.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm getting over a sinus infection. So he heard the TV cracking and he freaked out and he jumped out of bed and came running out by me. And he was telling me all about it. And I said, well, did you get anything on the picture? Mm-hmm. He showed it to me and I shared it to Facebook. It's on there several times in my photos. You can see the man standing right in front of the TV.
Yeah.
And I go in there and there's a split right down the center of the TV.
Yeah. And he just got that TV not long before that.
Yeah,
happened.
he just got that with the job that he had at the time. But yeah, we have all kinds of fun around here. And people,
it's not just at home either.
No.
That one time I was in the hospital, and I told you about that.
When you're having your gallbladder removed.
No, but when I was having the complications with Mia.
Oh, okay.
And they transported me to the other hospital, and they called you guys in.
Yeah.
For my last rites, whatever.
Yep.
There wasn't many people in the room. It was what, you, Dad,
me, Dad, and
I think that was it.
That was it.
Yeah. And then
it was before the priest even got there.
Yeah. And I think there was like a doctor and a nurse.
Yeah.
But I asked you like the next day, I'm like, who did you all bring up here? Because it literally, the room was packed
filled with people.
And I could hear people talking. And then, so the room that I was in was probably about like this size, if not a little bit bigger. It felt ginormous. It felt like they put me in the middle of like a hall or something. And way off in the corner, there was 3 of them talking, and they kept saying, well, are we going to take her or what? And they kept having this conversation, and they're looking around, and they're like, no, there's too many people right now. And they're just talking and talking. And then the priest came in, and literally everything in the room disappeared. Like all the people left. And I was like, okay, nobody's allowed to be in the, because, they all had faces.
Yeah.
Like they all look like normal people, but the ones in the corner were just like silhouette people.
Shadow people.
Yeah. But everybody else had faces, outfits, everything. That's why I was like, but I didn't recognize anybody.
Well, if you remember from when we were writing my book, Fire Within Me, how I described being like 2, 3 years old, 4 years old, and seeing these people walking out of my closet and just milling about the room like they were shopping in a mall. They had faces. That's why I thought they were real people.
Yeah.
And there was just crowds of them. And they were, excuse me, they were talking to each other. But then when I started screaming for my mom,
Mhm.
they noticed that I noticed them.
Yeah.
And then they started saying things like, we have to protect her.
Mhm.
And that freaked me out. And I was asking my mom, what are they here to protect me from?
Yeah.
And that's when I talked to the priest, well, not the priest, the pastor the next day. And I was like, what are they trying to protect me from?
Yeah.
Because my mom said they were probably angels.
Mhm.
Today, knowing what I know now, I know it wasn't angels.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the ones in the hospital room, they felt familiar.
Yeah.
I didn't get like a bad vibe, but none of them, like if I looked over, none of them would look back over at me.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were looking away and like talking to each other, but I could hear the shadows
Mm-hmm.
in the back talking. And I was like, I thought it was like a nurse and a doctor, like they were going to take me to CT or whatever. I didn't know what was going on until I talked to you the next day. I'm like, who was all here and where were they taking me? And you're like, they didn't take you anywhere. They got you here. They weren't taking you nowhere.
Yep. Think about all the things that we've been through in our lives where we should have died.
Mhm.
Okay. I can name several. Being hit by the dump truck. The 2 times I was kidnapped and the 2 attempts on kidnapping. But we always seem to pull through, I really do believe that in some way we are protected.
Mhm.
When the dump truck hit my car, it was an 86 Cadillac Anniversary Edition.
Yeah.
And Dante was what, 14?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And how old was Mason? He was just a little kid. He was like 8. 8 or 9. And he was in the back. Mason was in the back seat. Dante was in the front seat. That dump truck and my car collided in 10 inches of snow. It spun my car 6 times, witnesses said. And my car was hit on all 4 sides at least once. The witnesses that called 911 said, bring the coroner because whoever's driving it is probably dead. And I walked out with just the bad arm.
Yeah.
I had to have reconstructive surgery on my arm twice because I had put my hand out to block and it went through the windshield and it destroyed all the ligaments in my hand and in my wrist. I had such bad damage. They had to cut out the ulnar bone in my wrist. They had to cut it in half, take out a 6-inch chunk, put in a chunk of steel and reinforce it. Plus I've got screws holding my hand on my arm. I went blind for almost a year. 100% blind, and I had to have Mason teach me how to do talk to text so I could write my book, my second book.
Mhm.
There's so many things that we should have been dead. And I kind of think that that's why they linger, because we keep cheating death.
I think every time we do that, we bring one back with us. So
I don't know. we're over dominating the whole conversation here. Ryan, do you have anything to add?
No, mine are not as exciting as that. I mean, I don't.
Well,
I've seen them in
You live here for a month.
I've seen them in public. The most I probably, looking back at it at the time, I brushed it off a lot. But I used to work at a state-ran nursing home,
Mhm.
and it was an older building, really old, long, winding hallways everywhere. And I would constantly be going down the hallway and see something around there was like those mirrors that you see, like if you're like a server at a restaurant,
Yeah.
those corner mirrors or
Yeah.
a parking garage.
Or like at hospitals.
Yeah, hospitals have them too.
Yeah.
And I would always look up at them because, some Susie Q in a wheelchair or someone's coming around the corner.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is I'd always see somebody on the other side.
Yeah.
But then when you make the turn, no one's there.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of getting ready to be like, oh, hey, how you doing?
Mhm.
And there never was. A lot of the other things was I always would see a lot of activity of, it was weird because when it was a nursing home, so people would pass away. And when they would pass away, we would go in, if they didn't have anyone else, the state would go in and clean out the room and
Yeah.
get rid of all their belongings. And so, but then they would leave the doors open because no one's in there.
Yeah.
And you would just you'd walk into the room and you'd think you saw somebody or saw a resident walked in that room. There were many times where I would see like a dart through one of the doors into an empty, they were like some were studio and some were like 1-bedroom style apartments.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh,
Can't be in there.
can't be in there. Someone was lost, confused because we had dementia, all that.
Yeah.
And it would be like you'd walk in and there'd be like nobody. And you'd look
Yeah.
around the whole place, nobody's there. And that place was especially creepy at night because at night they would, I guess, save,
Sundowners.
yeah, in the save budget, I don't know, state budget, they'd shut hallway lights off. So like every third or fourth light in the ceilings would be on.
Mhm.
So you just constantly would see, in the dark at the end of the hall, something going back and forth, or like not like a reflection, but like a glisten of something.
Yeah.
Or so that was by far everywhere there. And I was there for probably just shy of 5 years, and you'd constantly see it. And I think it's just because of the amount of, especially in places like that, the amount of activity that's going on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it just constant all over the place. But stuff like that made me realize later on that like, oh yeah, they do exist.
Yeah.
I remember many times where I would think somebody was around the corner and they weren't there.
Yeah, I was a CNA for 23 and a half years. And I remember one particular resident that I was taking care of. She was new. And what a way to meet somebody, because the whole unit that I worked on was Alzheimer's, dementia, and stuff like that. And this woman came in and she was in her bed, and it was my job to go in and introduce myself and tell her that I'd be taking care of her. And I swear to God, on a stack of Bibles, she was possessed.
Yeah.
She had to be about 75 years old, and she made the creepiest growly noises at me when I walked in. And she had the blanket pulled way up under her nose, and all you saw was a nose and eyes, and they were beady, and it looked like she had no whites to her eyes. They just looked black.
Mhm.
And she, like in a movie, she was growling this demonic growl at me, and I tried to ignore it because you're supposed to act professional.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hi, so-and-so, my name is Nikki. I'm going to be taking care of you today. And she let out a laugh that I almost wet my pants,
Yeah.
because it was so evil and so maniacal.
Mhm.
And my first thought was, oh, hell no. I'm leaving. No pay is worth this. You are not going to get me today, Satan.
Mhm.
And I had to take care of her the rest of the day, and she wouldn't talk. She'd mumble things, and
Mhm.
she was like talking like this,
So you
Yeah.
throw a crucifix at her head.
Oh, I wanted to put it through her heart, you know.
Stare in the mouth. Whatever it-
You guys,
My bad.
but
I'm hitting her in the head.
everybody else was like, she's seems like a really sweet woman.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So you're one of them too. Okay.
Mhm.
But that made me wonder. Oh, that's what I wanted you to do. It kind of ties into this. Tell your New Orleans story,
Which one?
because I have a feeling she knew
Oh, okay,
that I can see spirits.
gotcha.
So go ahead.
So we went to New Orleans, and it was like a very long trip. Whatever. First night we were there on Bourbon Street, and it's packed. It's Bourbon Street. It's never not busy.
Mm.
And from about 400 feet away, so I just had this feeling that I had to look up. So I look up, and about like 400 feet away, and through the crowds of people, I see somebody just staring over at me. And then in my ear, I can hear somebody whisper, "I know." And then that was kind of the end of that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because after that, I couldn't see the person anymore.
Yeah.
Mm.
With everybody walking past, whatever, it's like they
Yeah.
just disappeared with the crowd.
But no matter where you went on Bourbon Street, what did random people say to
Well,
you?
no matter where I went in New Orleans at all, there was a lot of people who would just say, "I know," or "I see you," and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of voodoo down there in New Orleans,
Mhm.
and a lot of black magic witchcraft going on, both of which I prefer not to associate with. But I've gone to psychics and I walk in. Oh, you got to tell about the cashier too.
Mhm.
The little voodoo lady or whatever she was, the one that wouldn't even touch your hand.
Yeah.
But I've walked into, like at State Fair, a psychic booth, and I was like, we're here, let's get a reading, because no matter where I go, nobody can read me.
Mhm.
So this woman looked at me as I sat down, and she goes, "What do you want to know?" And I said, "Surprise me." She says, "I can't." And I said, "Why not?" She says, "Because you already know."
Mm.
And she handed me back my money and I left.
Can't read a reader.
No.
So that story you were talking about, we went to, what's the restaurant?
Cafe du Monde.
And went there, whatever, ate, and then we went to pay, and Ryan handed the cash over to the cashier and took the money, gave the change, whatever, everything was fine. Ryan handed me the money, and then I looked at it, whatever, turned around, and I went to hand it to the lady, and she would not take the money out of my hand.
Yeah.
I had to put it on the counter, and then she took the money. She would not touch me.
Yeah. I should have my mom's cousin Arlene on this show, because she's in her 70s, I'm going to say. And she has a lot more experience with this, but she will tell you that on my mother's side of the family name was Faust. My great grandma Polly's maiden name was Faust, Foust, but the man that she married, John, his name was Faust. And when we traced back the family history from Germany on my mom's side, because my mom's side is German and French, German and Irish, and we are related to, I don't remember his first name, but they wrote a book about him in Germany called The Book of Faust. And in Germany, they won't even acknowledge him because he supposedly made a pact with the devil, and he was into black magic and witchcraft. So I have a feeling that's, That's why I've been trying to cleanse our family tree for all these years that we've been working together as a family. And I'm trying to get that off of
Well,
us.
he's known as one of the most evil people in Germany.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's saying a lot 'cause Hitler was there.
Oh, he's
Literally.
worse than Hitler.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah, because this Faust guy didn't just make a pact with the devil. His pact involved his future going generations.
Mm.
Yeah. And I know where he's buried, and you know,
Mhm.
Road trip.
To Germany?
yeah.
Sure.
Have you seen it? Yeah. Like, you see outside? It's sleeting outside right now.
Yeah, we can't really drive to Germany, but
I'm on a plane.
okay.
But what else did we want to touch on? Okay. So remember we were just talking about how people that read my book have been having paranormal activity. So I was doing a podcast with a friend of mine, and he has a daughter who's in her mid-teens, and it started affecting her in her life and her brother. They were dealing with mimics and entities that would sneak up on them and start talking to them. And it got to the point where we couldn't do the podcast anymore because his family was being affected by it.
Yep.
Some people that read my first book, Fire Within Me, can't even go on to read Mr. Christopher Wants to See You because they're afraid.
A lot happens when people read the books.
Yeah. But if anybody is interested,
If you
Fire
like your
Within
own
Me.
personal demon, please contact.
Call 1-800-DEMON now.
Yeah.
No, Fire Within Me is available in paperback format on Amazon. But Mr. Christopher Wants to See You is only available on ebook.
We will get it on paperback this week.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay, so side question.
What?
Not side. Have you guys ever been like walking through the store and you like come in contact with somebody just like passing by or whatever, and you're like, that was a demon.
Oh,
That was
definitely.
a demon. Like you can
Definitely.
like I have to look at their feet, look at their hands, like
Yeah, I'm looking for hooves.
yeah. But that's
A
not
whole nother
always
story.
yeah, that's another story for a different day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't give it all away now.
Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
But there's times where I'm just walking through and I'm perfectly fine, and they walk past, and all of a sudden I just feel rage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's transference of, energy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost my energy there.
I do it.
Shutting down in 3, 2.
Yeah, there's been a lot of times, especially lately, where Ken was like, "Oh, do we all want to go to the store?" And I'm like, "No, no, I don't."
I don't want to risk my energy.
Well, it's like every single time lately I go out somewhere and I'm fine, and then all of a sudden, like this one person walks past, and it's not like they just walk past, because it's like they walk past, and you kind of look at each other,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, yeah, I don't like you. And then so I like skirt out of that aisle, and then we're on the other end of the store, and it's like every time I turn around, they're right there. So I'm like, okay, we gotta go. And then I get like real antsy, and I'm like, okay, let's go. Like I'm done. Get out of the store. Let's move.
Mm-hmm.
Tanner thinks I'm just having a mood swing. But it's like, no, like this.
Whatever you have to think to get me out of the store.
Missy, don't you remember growing up and I was trying to teach you about religion? And I told you, if you believe in God, you have to believe in the devil too.
Mhm.
The devil is a very bad fallen angel.
Yeah.
And I used to tell you that God, he used to be one of God's favorites in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And when he became a fallen angel, he was given so many years on earth to gather up the souls that he could,
Yeah.
because it was like a competition. He thought he could do better than God.
Mhm.
He was jealous of his power.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? He's at the end of his time, and that's
Yeah.
what's the end of times.
Well, and then
And he's trying desperately now to gather up as many souls as he can right now.
Yeah.
And it could be an animal, it could be a person, it could be anything.
I think baby is the devil.
The
noises
cat.
that come on her.
Oh yeah, she's collecting souls.
But you could shake hands with somebody in church when they say peace be with you, and you could be standing right next to the devil himself.
They don't do that anymore.
And
Really?
COVID,
Now because of COVID, they
Oh.
have a punch.
or
Well,
alcohol.
same thing.
Yeah.
You're transferring energy.
But
Yeah.
it's like with the
I
store thing,
never would do that. The same with holding hands to pray. No, I don't want your bad juju.
with the store thing, like that's been going on for like the past like 2 weeks, and I've noticed, like my own energy has been changing. And then it was not last night. No, it was last night. Sorry, my nights run together. Last night I had a dream that it was just me at the store, which is really weird because that's a very rare occurrence. But I was in the store, and I've never been in the store before. And everybody, as I walked by them, looked at me, but they all had just black eyes. And it's every single person in the store. And everybody was just pushing their cart in zombie mode, and everybody was by themselves. There was no like groups of people.
Mhm.
Everybody just walking through zombie mode. They all had empty carts. Nobody was shopping. I was there doing my shopping, but literally everybody that walked past looked at me. It's one of the like dream things, like significant dream things that popped up for me.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up, I always called it deja vu,
Mhm.
because the night before I'd have a dream about what was going to happen the next day. And I would sit here and you and Dad would be having a conversation, and I'd sit there and just mouth along with you guys because I knew exactly what you're going to say, exactly what everybody was going to do.
Yep.
It was kind of boring because I'm like, I already know how today's going to go. I'm just going to bed. It's not fun.
What other dreams? Oh God. I remember when my stepdad's mother passed away. That was back in 2008. It was like probably 8 years ago that I had the dream that she came to my house. They always come to my front door.
Yeah.
That's when I know somebody's going to die or they have a message for me. But she came to my front door and she's like, Roxanne, we have to talk. And I'm like, why? What's going on? She says, let's go shopping and go to lunch. So I drive her and I was like, where are we going? She says, go to Northridge Mall. I said, Grandma, that's been closed for decades now,
Yeah.
you know? And she's like, just go there, you'll see. And we pulled up and it was abandoned. All the windows are covered. I said, Grandma, nobody's here. She's like, will you just get out of the car and walk in with me? I was like, okay, humor the elderly, you know. We walk into the door and it was Christmas time. And it was like Christmas 1965. Women were wearing those long coats with the fur hand muff things. And everybody was smiling and talking to each other and waving at other people. And it was just really happy. There was Christmas music playing. There was Christmas decorations galore. This place was abandoned decades ago.
Yeah.
We shopped until we dropped. We ate lunch there. We took our bags and we got in the car and we were heading home. And I don't even remember. Oh, she was telling me that I have to stop being a people pleaser so much. I was trying to put it very delicately because my grandma and I, we talked and it was blunt, you know. She'd say, knock your shit off, you know. And so we get home, we bring the bags in, we set them down downstairs in the family room. And she's like, I just need to lay down for 5 minutes, okay? I said, go ahead. I got her a pillow. She laid her head down on the pillow and she was falling asleep. And I remember touching her cheek and I could feel it for real.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up. And then the first thing I did was I looked around for these shopping bags.
Yeah.
But
Where's that stuff I got? That was really cool.
yeah, but I really believed it was just because she wanted to tell me to stop bending over, kissing everybody's ass and being a people pleaser and start living my dreams. That's when I actually started writing my books.
Yeah.
She's like, you've been everybody else's cheerleader. Now it's your turn.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're back to anyway.
Anyway.
Anybody want to add anything? Any dreams that stand out? People that you've dreamed about that have passed away? Or
I mean, I think we could have a whole episode on dreams.
how about next week we talk about premonitions and
Dreams.
skinwalkers?
Dreams.
Yeah, premonitions, dreams, and skinwalkers. Because we've been seeing a lot of stuff lately.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no other explanation.
I'm gonna have to send you guys a picture of what I see looking out my bedroom window. It looks like something out of like the scariest horror movie in the world. It's just like pitch black, and then you have that one street light. And I'm always afraid I'm gonna look out the window and see somebody standing there.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Well,
I'm afraid to look out
we've
the
had
window.
that experience right down the street.
I know. That's why I'm afraid to look out my window. So I have the curtains that magnetize together so that they can't crack open, and I see somebody standing there.
Oh, you mean like those curtains where they're not magnetized and any minute somebody could peek through
That's fine.
it?
Not my room, not my problem.
Yep.
All right. Well, everybody, please be sure to tune in next week and hang in there with us. I like hanging out and telling our stories. Like I said, it's like an old timey radio show before they had TV. But all right. Good night, everybody. God bless. And we'll see you next weekend.